Oklahoma Newsroom, this is an OU update. I'm Jenni Carlson. The quarterback battle continues at Oklahoma. Ryan Aber joins us on the phone. And Ryan, this is obviously a topic that's not going away. I don't think any of us thought it would, but we're still waiting to find out who that quarterback, that starting signal caller is for the Sooners. And it sounds like where we thought before Trevor Knight and Baker Mayfield were 1-2 or 2-1 or however you want to lay it out there, maybe Cody Thomas isn't as far off as people thought. It sounds like it may be a three-way race after all, right?
Yeah, it really does. Listening to the coaches and from what we know about Saturday scrimmage and just practices in general, Cody Thomas has closed ground at Big 12 Media Days last month. Bob Stoops said Trevor Knight and Baker Mayfield were 1-2 in some order, and Cody Thomas was a step behind them. It doesn't appear that that's the case right now. And it's really not surprising given the fact that Cody Thomas played in this offense in high school and the arm that we saw him display when he played at Colleyville Heritage down in the Dallas area. He had a monster arm, and we really didn't see that last year when he came on in relief of Trevor Knight. But it appears he's making big-time strides in the offseason.
You know, obviously we can't know how this is exactly going to play out as far as the timing of everything. Lincoln Riley's new. We don't exactly know how he might interact with Bob Stoops on this choice, but we at least have an idea of what Bob Stoops has done in the past, Ryan, when it comes to naming starters. Once you get into fall camp, he has a fairly measured time and time frame, and when he names a starter, what do we know from all of that?
Well, it seems like it's usually about a week and a half out from the season opener, which would be, I guess, late next week would be the expected time that he would typically name a starter. And I think it's for a couple reasons. One, you don't want to go into the last week right before the season opener not knowing who your quarterback is, have that quarterback not knowing that he's going to start so he can prepare and take all the reps with the one. But two, I think Bob Stoops wants to keep the competition going. Even if he has a solid idea of who he wants to be as quarterback, he wants to keep that sense of competition going. And I think with these three, and this is something we're going to touch on later this week in the Oklahomans, that their relationship is so close and they're bonded together that there is competition, but there's no animosity there. They want to get each other better, and I think the longer the competition drags out, where you can still get your preparation in for week one, then that's a good thing for those guys.
Ryan, I know there's no way to know this, what the answer to this last question is, but you know, some people would say, hey, this is great that all these guys are playing to a level where the coaches can't decide which one should be the starter. Then there may be some people saying, wait a second, if nobody's standing out, is that such a good thing? Maybe there's a deficit there. Is there any way to gauge if this is a question of everybody's playing great and it's hard to know who the starter should be, or are they having some issues at transitioning in the air raid?
Well, I think we're going to find that out September 5th against Akron, or at least start to get an idea. I think you're really not going to know until games start being played, and maybe even a week later when they travel to Tennessee and play a strong ball team, that we'll really get a sense of, well, if you've got three quarterbacks, you don't have any, or if it's an abundance of riches at Norman.
Yeah, I guess we will find out. All right, stay tuned, as we expect next week is probably the likely time that Bob Stoops will name that quarterback. We'll see how it goes. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.